Yeah.
Let's go, baby! We're going to college football playoff! Woo! Let's go, Bearcat!
From the streets of Cincinnati, welcome to the jungle! Let's go. Stripes, 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 yeah, stripes, 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 orange in the day, black in the night, stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly, the beast is awake, orange, black and white, cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite and stripes. Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and drippin' orange and black and white. All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Wake up the beast, every game day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle, drippin' heat. Tigers stripe the city streets. East side, stand up. West side, stand up. If you reppin' who they, time to put your hands up. Bingo stripes, we in it. New day, new age, yeah, we get it. Cincinnati jungle fitted. Who they in our house, we win it. Orange and black and white, we build it. Earn our stripes, you know we kill it. Bleed our colors, jungle dripping. Nasty, natty, yeah, we live it. Lit the crowd, get the city loud. Yeah, we feasting now. Fit the bounce, make the city howl. Now we beastin' now. Thunder through the tunnel, from the sideline to the huddle. Stripes we tatted on the jungle when we flex that who they muscle on them. Stripes, Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and drippin' orange and black and white. All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Stripes. Now who wanna move crossing on? Stripes. Now who wanna move on? If you got stripes and you let the city know you rock 'em, yeah we got 'em, yeah we fought 'em. Like that black and orange upon 'em, bingo bottle, never stop it till the beast and know who they rockin' with the diamond stripes, flossin' on the ring. Cincinnati, she's our queen. We gon' show the world who king. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, who day we ignite and Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle we unite and drippin' orange and black and white. All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Now who wanna move crossing on? Now who wanna move on? All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Trunapole. And as always, I'm bringing you sports from a West Side point of view right here in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio. Home, I say it every day this week, of the number 4 team going to the college football playoffs, University of Cincinnati Bearcats, along with Jackpot Joey Burrow. And as of right now, the playoff-bound Cincinnati Bengals. This is awesome. What a great time to be a Cincinnati sports fan. Now, do me a favor. If you found the show, hit that like and subscribe button. Smash that thumbs up. I'm up to 1,417 subscribers. That is awesome. As always, I appreciate every single one of you guys because if you guys weren't watching or subscribing, there'd be no reason to do this show whatsoever. So I appreciate you guys. Now, if you're watching me on Facebook or on Twitter and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so. Please go to Sports with Strawberry Ice, hit the subscription button, hit the bell for notification, and every time I go live, you'll be notified. Normally, I'm doing super chats, but you guys don't have to do super chat today because I have a recorded interview with Final Four member of the Bearcats and radio broadcaster Terry Nelson. But normally I do super chats, but I'm not today. But I am coming to you live from the Ice Cave, and the Ice Cave is brought to you by T Properties. T Properties, quality housing for quality people. Check out their website at www.tpropertiesllc.com for all your rental property management needs and your rental needs. Yes, Chris, we need to beat the Suck Uniters. I cannot stand them. They're playing Sunday. The Bengals are kind of banged up. Mixon, as far as I know, didn't practice, so it sounds like the game day decision. That's getting me a little worried. Hopefully Riley Reeve plays. I mean, we haven't had to deal with injuries all year up until now. I don't know. It's very worrisome to me of the injuries that we have. But I still think Joe Burrow, as long as he's healthy, he's got that pinky, but as long as he's healthy and can swing it, I think we got a chance to win this game. Now, Saturday night is the CrossTown Shootout, the 89th version of the CrossTown Shootout, Cincinnati versus Xavier. And like I said, I have an interview with Terry Nelson. I'll be playing here shortly. I'm always excited about the CrossTown Shootout. It's a great event. They are, I think, in proximity, are the closest schools as far as miles go in college basketball. It's a real rivalry. It's a legit rivalry. I love it that Wes Miller is actually taking it seriously and not acting like it's a nuisance. And Josh says, "Let's go, Xavier." Oh my God, no, I don't like you anymore, Josh. I was kidding. Just kidding. But I think it's going to be a tight game. I think the Bearcats are going to bring the energy. Let's just hope they're ready to bring the scoring and their defense. We'll see. It's going to be a very tight and fun game. But let's get to this awesome interview with Terry Nelson. And I got to give a shout out to Terry real quick here too. Terry Nelson, I'll say this in the interview, was the first person I ever interviewed. If it wasn't for Terry, I would have never tried to go out and interview anybody. These different people that I've interviewed, from Terry Nelson to Melvin Levitt to Dave Lapham to Chris Welch to the guys from the Cincy Jungle, Zim, Ace, all these guys. I would have never done it if it hadn't been for Terry Nelson. So I always owe a big thanks to Terry Nelson because it was his idea when I met him for him to come on my podcast. I didn't even thought about doing it, but anyway, Terry Nelson's a great guy, a great friend. Let's get to the interview. Let me try that. There you go. All right, guys. Have a very special guest today. It's a great time to be a Bearcat right now. The football team is going to the college football playoffs. We got a new head basketball coach coaching in his very first Crosstown Shootout. Who better to discuss the upcoming Crosstown Shootout than former member of the University of Cincinnati Bearcats Final Four team, and he's also from the radio broadcasting team. He's Terry Nelson. Terry, what's going on, my friend?
How about that intro, brother?
You like that? I got your own special one.
I love it.
So how exciting is it to be a Bearcat right now? For everything I just said with the football team going to the college football playoffs, we got Wes Miller, our new coach, first Crosstown Shootout. I mean, how exciting is it for you being a former Bearcat and everything going on right now?
It reminds me when I took my recruiting visit down here back in 1991. The Bengals came off back-to-back Super Bowl appearances. The Reds just won the World Series, and it was just the cupboard was bare for basketball and hungry to keep this thing going, and we ended up going to the Final Four. So to have the Bearcats in football in a place that they've never been before, steamrolling. They didn't crawl in. They didn't back in. They absolutely bust down the door. And to have Fickle say, you know what, yes, there are bigger jobs that pay more. There's nothing like building what you have. I'm in real estate.
Right.
So taking a property that has a lot of potential and putting a lot of money, blood, sweat, and effort into it and making it exactly the way you want. And then somebody says, wait a minute, hey, I got a better property over here that's already fixed. And he's like, nah, I like what I built here. So seeing Fickle, knowing what he's done, is exciting, but then having, Wes Miller and the vision he is instilling in these guys and, playing fast, aggressive man-to-man defense, encouraging, seeing the talent start to blossom into what they, the role definition, it's been exciting for me.
Yeah, exactly. And you may had a conversation about a week or so ago about Wes Miller and the way the team's playing. And I told you, I said, I really like the defense. I'm impressed with the way they're playing because Wes is taking guys that were left over from last year. He's brought some of his own guys in. We got guys that came in from the transfer portal, and he's mixing them and mashing them all together. And that defense is actually pretty good, especially the thing I'm always impressed with, Terry, is the switches, because that's always, to me, the hardest thing to do is, I got it. Take your man, you switch, and you got to trust your teammate that they're going to switch and go with the person that they're supposed to. And I've seen that a lot. And they're picking them up not at full court, but half court. They're picking them up pretty good. And that to me shows what kind of a coach Wes is as far as communication and just getting his guys to all buy into what he's selling right now.
Yeah, he's not going to spend too much time trying to get guys to press in the backcourt. He'll do spot duty doing that, but he wants to make sure that half court defense is tight. They're all communicating. You'll see him on the sideline doing this the entire time, and he's saying, "Talk, communicate, talk, call the screens out. Make sure that a guard doesn't get picked off by a big setting the screen at half court or in the backcourt." So he expects his bigs to be exactly, if the guy is taking the ball out and he's coming to bump screen on the ball handler in backcourt, he wants his big to be right there, not back to 3-point line, screaming from there. He wants him to make sure that he knows. So, Mike Saunders twice this year got blindsided,
right? Yes,
by screens in the backcourt, and during timeouts, you better believe he was letting the bigs know, and the coach lets him know in practice, like, how would you feel if you got your neck rattled and your head ready to pop off if somebody hits you with a screen? So it's one of those things where just communication. Then the defense, how they play the ball screens. That's always how you tell if you're a good defensive team, because most people have shot blockers, most people can press, but how do you handle pick and rolls? How do you handle on the ball screens? Do you switch? Do you hedge? Do you go third man? Do you let the guy go through? Do you go above or below the screener? Like, there's different ways for your defensive coverage, and he'll switch it up. But the main thing he does is when that screen comes, that big will go out and not hedge and get back, but he will absolutely blitz them and push the ball handler back, which gives either the primary defender a chance to get through and get on the ball, or drop his hips and get underneath and get back to the ball, and then he gets back to his guys. So, and it's not just those two. It's like when one goes up, everybody else gets in tandem and helps on the backside.
Exactly. And the other thing that I've liked, like the very let's be honest, Wes Miller is the first UC basketball coach to start out 5-0 ever in the history of this historic program. And you're talking Ed Jucker, Bob Huggins, Mick Cronin. We had some pretty solid head coaches here, and for him to start out 5-0, that's a big thing there. And the first 5 games, I thought this team, I think we're a tournament team.
Yeah.
And then we played Arkansas, and it hasn't been the same. We played Bryant, heating and air, whatever college that was, and the offense got better. But I know what heating and air, but
stop it.
but the offense got a little better. But to me, it hasn't been back to the way it was when we started out 5-0. What do you think? Are teams checking the Bearcats differently, or are they doing something different and the Bearcats haven't made the adjustment, or what's going on with that, you think?
Well, there's an adjustment on both sides. Yes, teams get film now. Now that you have enough film to break down on how you're going to beat the team, it's up to the coaching staff now to make those adjustments. Now, the coaching staff can make the adjustments. Now, the players got to continue to make the adjustments. There's role definition now. When he's substituting guys every 2-3 minutes, that's going to continue, except certain players are going to start getting more minutes. Right. They won't be shuffling in and out every 2-3 minutes. Victor Locken, for one. He's going to be one that you'll see extended minutes for. And as he gets better and better, he's going to be a good one. As he gets, better and better progress throughout the season, you won't see him playing, 15 minutes per game. He'll be playing upwards of 25 to 28 minutes per game. And, he'll come out of the game, but he'll go right back in, and because he is our best low post scorer. He has such a feel for the game. He's a good passer. He's a good rebounder. And he just got that Russian, like when he comes out of the game, he's the only guy that gives a facial expression. Like, he doesn't want him out of the game.
Right. I love that about him, to be honest. I do. Because not that I was ever any, I just played high school basketball. That's the way I felt. Like, man, me? No, you mean him, that guy. No, not me. I don't want to come out. Like, come on. But yeah, I agree with you. I love his energy, and his passing ability is from the post. From the block is ridiculous. Been very impressed with him, and very excited to see him play. But it was not the Bryant game, but the game before that, he didn't do so high because he got in foul trouble. So he's got to stay out of foul trouble. For
Miami
sure.
Game, yes. Yeah, the Miami game. So he gets in foul trouble. He does freshman stuff. He'll have great games, and then he'll have 5 turnovers, in the next game. So the consistency of freshmen is not something that is always there. You know, the
Right.
great Al McGuire used to say the best thing about freshmen is they become sophomores.
Right, exactly.
So
Yep.
you have to continue to work with them, but at the same time, it's always good to work with somebody that's got tools. You know,
Oh,
I
yeah,
just bought a new chair I'm trying to assemble. It's probably sitting in the background, but I just bought a new chair from Walmart. I'm trying to assemble, and it came with like 100 pieces. I'm like, what
Oh,
the?
jeez. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, man. I saw the box, and I'm like, yeah, I need a chair real quick because my chair is leaning over here, and
Right.
I go over there, and they like unzip the pocket. You unzip the
Oh.
pocket, and there's a whole box of screws and
Uh-huh.
parts and all that. Well, once you get all that stuff together and you sort of put it out there on the ground and you sort it all out, you look at the instructions and you put it together, you're like, oh, this is not so bad. It's the same thing.
Wait. Who looks at instructions? We're guys. We don't do instructions, man. I mean, we
Stop
should
it.
try to.
No, I don't look at my car manual. Other than that, yes, I look at the instructions when I'm putting something together because you and me both, when we finish putting something together, there's like 3 or 4 screws and 2 washers left.
I
Like,
know. What's up with that? Why?
Why did they give us extra stuff?
Right, exactly. I always have extra parts. I don't know why. Speaking, I remember. I'll never getting off topic, but when my daughter was real little, we bought her for Christmas. Bought her one of those big Barbie houses or whatever, or a Magic Princess Tower or something. And my wife's like, "Oh, let's hurry put it together real quick. You don't be that bad." I'm like, "I got all right. It's fine. It can't be that big of a deal." Terry, man, it took us 2 freaking hours or more to put that thing together, and I said,
Yes.
"You're never taking this apart ever."
Yes.
I was like, "Oh my goodness!" But yes, putting stuff together. But once you put it together, and you do it right, it's structurally sound, and you're good to go to move forward. And that's exactly what Luke Fickle has done with the Bearcat program. He built the foundation, and for 5 years ago, and look where it is now. And I think that's what Wes Miller is trying to do. And one thing I found this out listening to Alex Meacham's the Bearcat podcast when you were on there. I think this is awesome. He has seats behind the bench exclusively for Bearcat former players like yourself, which I mean, you're always at the broadcast, but Kenya Martin, Alex Meacham, all these guys, if they come to the games, they're sitting behind a bench. To me, that is awesome. I love that about Wes Miller, and he's bringing in the past players, or bringing the culture back in. And that's one thing we were all worried about with him taking over, being a North Carolina guy.
Yeah, we talked about this last night on the coaches show, Wes Miller coaches show, where he had to go to administration and say, hey, I want the guys behind the bench. And I said, we couldn't do it. And he said, oh, it can be done. It doesn't take any more seats. And then he had his friends at North Carolina send them photos of the players that sit behind North Carolina bench. And he says, I want the camera showing not just our team, but our legends. Right. I want to show the program being built upon the guys that, that help establish, the foundation, basic engineering. The higher the structure that you're trying to build, the deeper the foundation must go. Right. And so your foundation is the guys that come before you. No matter who they are. We always look at Oscar and all the, the 60, 61, 62, 63 team. We look at those guys and we say, okay, that was our deep foundation. And then you start going through the Steve Sanders and the Roger McClendons and the Joe Stiffens and the Keith Starks, Lou Banks, Lavertus Robinson. You go to that, and then you come to the Final Four team, and then you start getting All-Americans, and then start taking off from there with Danny Fortune, Kenya Martin, Bobby Brandon. So when you see those guys, Lazelle Durden, Darnell Burton, sitting behind the bench, Keith Starks, Sean Myrick has been there on a consistent basis. Meach is always around and shaking hands like he's running for mayor or something. But seeing these guys in the facility, seeing them behind the bench when the game starts. But, Cincinnati, the Fifth Third Arena has become like one of the number one social spots along with Paul Brown Stadium. You go there not just to watch the game, but to meet people, connect, have, some fruity drinks, some good drinks, talk to people, reminisce, take pictures, selfies, and then all the beautiful artwork that's around the facility. You always want to see this and post it all over the, all the gram and Twitter. So it's one thing to build the foundation, but it's another thing to say, okay, this foundation needs to continue to be updated, just like any foundation. It has cracks and just different things. You continue to update it, make it better. And when Wes Miller said, behind the bench is where I want my guys, it made everybody realize that, yeah, he's a real one. He wants us around.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And I'm happy for you guys because you, along with myself, and I know I'm not that I'm a former player, but a lot of the former players wanted Eric Martin as a coach, and we're all disappointed that he didn't get it. And I'll be honest, when Wes Miller got the job, I'm like, who? I never heard of him. I didn't know who he was. But the more and more I've listened to him, I gave him a chance, and the stuff that he's doing and the things that he's doing to create the atmosphere from the past to the present, I'm all in on him. I really like Wes Miller a lot. What's your thoughts on what he's done so far? I mean, as far I know, you just said about the bringing the players back, but his coaching and things like that.
I love his demeanor. I love how he, he includes everyone. He includes his staff. He allows his players to have a voice. When he gets in the huddle during timeouts, watch what he does. When they call timeout, all the guys sit down and he gives them 10 seconds to talk to each other, to get out what their frustration is, to point out to something that they didn't see. And then he takes the board, talks to them a little bit, and gets back into, what went wrong, what we're going to do coming out of this, because he's a forward thinker. He doesn't call a timeout and rip you for the 5 rebounds that you gave up or turning the ball over. He'll do that at halftime. He'll do that after the game. When he calls a timeout, he wants to reset your mindset and get you focused back on the strategy and the task at hand. And that's a different mindset than we've had over the last 30 years where, you come out for what you did wrong. He is, no, I'm going to reward you for what you do right. And if I keep looking at you wrong, you'll never grow that capacity to keep doing what you do right. So he's going to reinforce the things that you do right. He'll correct the things that you do wrong, but it doesn't require him to curse you out on the sideline, make a face every time you do something wrong. You turn the ball over. Basketball, how many times are you going to go through a game with 0 turnovers? I don't think it's ever been done unless the what was it, the 84 stall game or whatever it was, when you just hold the ball at half court.
Right.
You don't get turnovers if you don't take chances.
Right.
There's no shot clock.
Yep.
But if there's a shot clock, there's going to be turnovers because the game is played faster and faster. The players are bigger. There's, you're going to get deflections. You're going to get blocked shots. You're going to get guys that are great on the ball defenders to get steals. So there's going to be turnovers. There's going to be bad plays, people trying to make stuff happen that they shouldn't make happen because the game is so instinctive. You practice to create habits, but then those habits get, amplified a little bit by crowd and momentum and adrenaline. And so they're going to do things, and you're talking about guys that are 18 to 22 years old. It's going to be turnovers. My Lakers are having problems with turnovers. Turnovers are part of the game, but it doesn't mean that you demean a player. It doesn't mean that you just rip his confidence out, because one game won't define that person. You have to build them for the long term. And what Wes Miller is great at is instilling confidence in the guys. He says he wants to lead the conference and the country in high fives.
Yes.
So I was at practice yesterday, and when practice is over, he tells all former players, get in the huddle in the middle with everybody else. They walk around in little circles and they give each other high five, and they come back and give the people that gave high fives the other team high fives. And then he talks and he gives his sort of state of the practice address to, hey, it was good today. He doesn't point out the bad stuff. This is what he wants you to remember, the good stuff. Right. Because when you're in this, Strawberry, when you're in a game and you're not playing well to start, if you keep yelling and screaming, and it's not a pleasant thing. Yes, they may come back, but it's not a pleasant thing. But when you don't show any emotion, like, okay, we haven't played our game yet. Keep going. We're going to keep subbing. We're going to stick to it. And then all of a sudden, when it clicks, he's not different from when you were down 20 to when he's up 20. He's still greeting you when you come out with a 5 and, telling you, he's stopping you, giving you some correction as you go to the bench. Hey, this is what you got to work on because this guy is doing this. The guy sits down, gets some water, wipes himself off. A minute later, he's back in the game. So that kind of stuff makes you realize that, man, we got a good one in Cincinnati, and things are just different all around.
Yeah, exactly. And let's get back to the point where you're always banging on something about turnovers and bad shots and stuff like that. Sometimes I think that gets in players' heads. I'll put it this way. I know it would get in my head because the more you think about, okay, I don't want to screw up. You screw up, And I like the idea of him doing the encouragement and stuff. That's a great thing. Now, this is the 89th version of the CrossTown Shootout. Now, there's a young kid back in like 92 or something, and I got this off his Facebook page that he posted. And I'm just curious, what do you think this guy was thinking when he said we're going to blow out Xavier?
I had no understanding or respect for the rivalry because I've never been a part of it. I didn't understand it. To me, it was another game. We played against those guys in the summer. We would go to the field house. They would come to Fifth Third Arena. We were good friends with a lot of them. We played
Right.
in the Devereaux Summer League. We played against them. We competed against them. We saw them at the waterfront, and we used to all hang out at the waterfront.
Yeah,
We
I
all,
remember. Yeah.
all going after the same lady. So it's one of those things where you were comfortable with your opponent.
Right.
And when, and I had this Muhammad Ali honesty to me. I wanted to use a little comedy. I was doing stand-up comedy also.
Right. Yep.
And so when Bill Cook asked me about the CrossTown Shootout, I'm like, come on, man. Where I'm from, CrossTown Shootout, there's rival gang members going at it. We should beat them by 20. We'll beat them by 20. And it was just, it went, I didn't know it was that big, and I saw it on the front page of the paper, and Hugs really ripped me for it.
Oh, I bet he did.
and to speed that story up, the first, like we walk into practice, and all the TV, the podcast, the tripods were in there. That's when he used to allow all the TV stations in there, 5, 9, 12, 19, 64. They would all be in there, and they were doing interviews. And me and Hugs walked in at the same time. He had just ripped me in the office, and we walk in, and Ken Brew is asking Nick Van Exel, what do you think about Terry's comments that you guys should blow him out? And Nick goes, yeah, I agree with Terry because their big men are soft. Hugs goes, that's it. Everybody get the F out of here. He's like kicking everybody. Get the F out now. Pack your stuff up and get out. He's kicking everybody out. And he made us run like 20 suicides to start practice off.
Oh my goodness.
And then so Corey twists his ankle within 10 minutes of practice, and he's being carried off down to the training room. And Hugs goes, you think their big men are soft? Look at our big men getting carted out like a slab of meat. And so Nick says, man, you paranoid. We're going to smash him. He said, I'm paranoid. Get the F out of here, Nick. Now, if you ain't never been kicked out of practice,
oh my goodness,
you're not going to get in the game anyway. So he kicks you out of practice. You're supposed to go to the locker room. Assistant coach comes in there, talks to you. You come back out, your tail between your legs, and you listen to what the coach says. Well, he kicked Nick out, and Steve Moeller goes to the locker room, comes back out. Hugs goes, where's Nick? He goes, he's not in the locker room. Hugs says, you better go find Nick, or you better find another job. So he comes back like 10 minutes later. Nick's got his jersey on backwards, and he's eating a hot dog, and he's walking through the So we sitting over here, we got our jerseys up like this. We're laughing. And Hugs has got his practice schedule, and he just wraps his arms. He goes, what the hell are you doing? He said, Hugs, I don't play that. He said, come on, you going to kick me out. I ain't playing. He said, man, we going to smash him. Hugs like, okay, y'all so cocky. Coach yourself. So he sits down, grabs his Dr. Pepper, leans up against the scorer's table. And for the next 40 minutes, we ran practice. The best practice we had all year long. Every time we're doing something, we're like, yeah, we're clapping.
Right.
We knocking down shots. We doing the drills. And he saw the energy was up, and he was like, okay, let's go to this. Like, he came back into practice.
Right.
And then we end up winning the game, and then he wraps his arm around me after the shake hands and layup line, or post-game line.
Yeah. And
he says, Terry, once you retire 1-0 as a prophet. So I got you, brother.
Terry, that's an awesome story. And that's to me, that is why you guys have such a relationship, and Bob Huggins has a great relationship with his players. Stuff like that. He kicks you out, and Nick says, I don't play that. He's coming back eating a hot dog, and hug it, and you guys smash it, and you go out and you kick their ass.
Here's what Hugs was separated him from other coaches. Hugs was, and I can give you this on either sides with Hugs and comparisons to former coaches.
Okay.
Hugs is an alpha, and he likes alphas.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you have alphas, when you're dealing with alphas, whether it be male or female, you have to give them room to vent, to get off steam. They're going to challenge authority. They may curse, and you may tell them to do something. They're going to ask why, or you yell at them, they're going to yell back at you. And when you got insecure coaches, they're going to make you run. They're going to kick you off the team. They're going to suspend you. And I told Hugs, I'm like, look, if you going to yell at me, expect to be yelled back at. Right. So if you don't treat me that way, I told him, I said, Hugs, if you yell at me, I'll shut down. You yell at Nick's going to yell back at you. You yell at Kenyon, you yell at Danny Fortson, him and Hugs had this relationship where, he's cursing back at hugs and while he's running suicides. Like Danny,
while he's running, he's yelling at him.
Danny would run. Hugs would be like, "Get on the line. You don't want to do this." And Danny would be like, "F this." And he'd be running and he's cursing all the way up and down the court, but he's running. And
Right.
He gonna try to make the time and all this. And Hugs like, "You didn't make it. Bullshit. I ain't running no more. I'm not running no more. You can't play. You can't win without me. So let's get practice going."
You can't win without me. He said that to him. Oh, my goodness.
Say, you can't win without me. You can't play. None of these guys can do what I do. And Hugs was like, you know what? Damn, he's right. He wouldn't say it in front of him, but he was saying in the coaches' meetings like, damn, he's right. We can't win without him. So it got to the point where even with me, I told him, don't yell at me because I'll shut down. So he would yell at me for Eric or Nick. Terry, would you tell this lazy son of a to get his butt over there on the weak side and rebound the ball? And I'm like, yeah, okay, I hear what he's saying now.
Right. That's awesome. Now, one thing I bring with what Wes Miller said and how he's embracing the rivalry, and it's kind of like what he said was that school over there in Norwood, and to me, it kind of reminds me of the Ohio State, Michigan, where they always say that team up north. It's funny. I think it's cool. I don't think he meant any harm by it, but to me, it's him embracing the rivalry. Yes. I mean, we've had coaches here. I think that the rivalry is more of a nuisance than actual, something important. And again, to what Wes is doing with the former players behind the bench, he's embracing this. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, he really, when you played at North Carolina, your game is the biggest game on the schedule, whoever you're playing. And then when you play against Duke, you play against NC State, playing against Wake Forest, those were, rivalries that are right down the street, right down the block, neighborhood rivalries that are intense, just as intense as Xavier. But when you get a fight in the mix within the last 10 years, now you look at ESPN, they moved it from, 2 to ESPN.
Yeah.
And now it's on the marquee channel. And every time they play, they keep showing that bumper of the fight.
Yeah.
And they talk about how bitter it is and all this stuff. And, for the better part of the last 20 years, Xavier has held the advantage.
Unfortunately.
They've dominated, I think the Lenny Stokes team was the last team that won over in Centos Center. That's Xavier. So they're well aware of this. Matter of fact, practices today at 3 o'clock. And after practice, myself, Corey, if Corey can make it, myself, Leonard Stokes, and some other people, Steve Logan will be there to talk about the rivalry and what to expect, the intensity, because they have no idea. They got a piece of it,
right,
with Miami. They got a piece of it, the student section, calling out FUC and all this other stuff. And I said, that's just the drunk college kids at Miami. They do this all the time.
Yeah.
But Xavier, they would throw stuff at you. They're nasty. They call themselves all the stuff that. They want to be this higher institution of learning, but it's all in sports. It's all in sportsmanship. They say sportsmanship. The lines of sportsmanship has been erased.
Yeah,
I mean, people say whatever they want. They call you all kind of names. They call you derogatory terms, and it's all guys in the terms of, oh, this is sportsmanship. Don't worry about it.
Right.
And the people would just give you that. You can't do that. Stop. Sit down. They don't kick them out. They should kick them out. They don't kick them out. They do whatever they do. So when you win on the road. Like, I loved playing on the road. We should call ourselves road warriors. Anybody that's had a good team at UC love playing on the road, because when you go in there and you got that black on.
Yeah, baby.
And that black,
Come
black
on now.
uniforms with the red and white lettering and the numbers. And you go in there and you beat them. And it's so quiet that the 100 or 200 fans that are in there become the majority. And they're screaming, they're yelling. And all they can do is boo and start name calling and all that. And you start pointing up at the scoreboard. And me, I'm start talking about their jerseys, their shoes, their hat, how drunk they look. They got to go home in that sad car of theirs. Do you need an Uber? Like, I'm talking all kind of trash. Like, I'm Chuck 2.0. I don't want to get kicked out.
Right, yeah. Yeah, Chuck getting kicked. I still crack sure he got kicked out of the NCAA tournament game. Oh, my goodness.
Rest in heaven, brother.
And former teammates. Unfortunately, we had the passing of Herb Jones here, one of your former teammates, a member of the Final Four team. What does Herb Jones mean to you? What did he mean to that Final Four?
If Herb Jones had a different personality, if Herb Jones was the guy that, beat on his chest all the time, if Herb Jones was somebody that brought attention to himself, he would have been all over the media. He would have been, you know, a household name. But for those that didn't grow up and they look at our Final Four team and all they can remember is Nick Van Exel and Corey Blunt, they missed out on someone that was truly special. The year before we came, I mean, he had games of 40. He had several games of 30. One of the best and coldest dunks in college basketball against Louisville. He's
I remember that one.
Yeah, man. So he was a guy that was so versatile at 6'4". He can post. He can shoot the fadeaway. He was our best rebounder. He was a three-point sniper. And not to mention, he's the best on-the-ball defender. So he's 6'4", and he's got like 7-foot wingspan. So we put him in the front of the press. We pressed all game long, and we put him in the front of the press, and he would contain the ball. We say, Herb, put the ball on that side, keep it on that side. That's it. And he got it. If we windshield wipe, but he was one of the best finishers. I always thought the best finisher I ever seen in college basketball was Stacey Augmon. In fast break, he just never missed layups. And for Herb Jones, the same way. He got that ball. He never missed an and one opportunity. He got the ball in the fast break. He made it. He would watch the ball all the way through, even if it meant falling down and hitting his head on the basket. He was going to make sure that ball was going in. But he never, if you played him rough, he would never say anything. He would just take it to another level.
Exactly. And the thing that always sticks out for me with Herb is you say his height. He's 6'4". I mean, that's my height, but I mean that's undersized for a forward. And just I always remember his rebounding. That's one of the things that I always remember about the Final 14 with you guys is the press, the full court press, and the rebounding. I had Corey Blunt, Herb Jones, down to Eric Martin, yourself, down to you guys just killed it on the boards. But I always remember Herb because he was 6'4", and I'm like, I'm in high school. I'm like, he's my height. How in the hell is he out rebounding a 7-footer? But he always would, and he could guard, like Herb could guard a guard, he could guard a center. It didn't matter who it was, and he would shut them down. He was a bigger key to that Final Four team than I think he gets credit for.
Larry Bird used to say rebounding is not about physicality. It's about timing and toughness. Like if you want it, you're going to go get it. Right. Like, so we used to, Hug said one time in practice, he goes, guys like Terry have to box out every time to get a rebound. He said, Herb, just go get the damn ball.
Yeah. He can jump out the gym, dude.
I remember one time we were playing Marquette, and I'm boxing out. And because Herb, we got in the locker, we got in the huddle, and, we give up a couple offensive rebounds, and he sat us down, and he called timeout, and he's just reaming through all, the post players. Next person that doesn't box out, they're going to sit their ass down the rest of the game. So the shot goes up, and I'm boxing out, and I'm ready to jump, and all of a sudden, I see these shorts on my shoulder. I'm looking at Herb Jones grabbing the rebound and taking a dribble or two, giving it to Nick, and we starting a fast break, and I'm like, I did my job.
I boxed out. Exactly.
He's not expecting me to rebound the ball over Herb, man.
Right.
I'm 2 inches taller than him, but he just got trash can calves, and he's got quick jumping ability. Awesome.
His jumping ability and like I said, that dunk versus Louisville. I'm 99% sure I was at that game. I remember the dunk. I think I was at the game or I saw it on TV. I can't remember, but I remember that dunk. That dunk was epic, and I know. Alex Meacham replayed his interview with Herb, and they talked about that. Why is that dunk not on the intro there in Fifth Third Arena, or for all the history of the Bearcats? That dunk, they need to find that, especially since Herb is no longer with us. We got to remember him, and that dunk personifies everything. I think with Herb Jones.
Well, you may see it Tuesday. They're going to honor Herb Jones at the game. So we'll have the Final Four team back. Most of them sitting behind the bench. They're going to honor him. But it's one of those things where the guys that are producing the videos for the Fifth Third Arena were born at the year we played.
Right. Yeah. Right. They don't know.
Or they weren't born until, Melvin Levitt was a player. At
right.
It's like they don't know. Going back, just like me, I had to go back and understand McClendon and all the Stiffens and the Starks and the Vertis, and seeing how they played and it builds upon each other. So when I go back and I see videos, yes, I see the Nick Van Exel when he hits the half court shot against Xavier in '93.
Yep.
Danny Fortson when he went for 40 points against Xavier at Xavier, 40 and 17, and talk trash with every bucket. Like those are the memories that I remember. But seeing Herb, our natural rivalry at the time was both Louisville and Xavier.
Yep.
And Louisville, it was just a big thing because they were national champions in '86, and I mean they had just a ton of talent with Purvis Ellison and LeBradford Smith, and for him to just be able to just go in there and just dominate against Louisville and then have one of the most iconic dunks with the offhand against the body.
Yes. Yep. You're
and
right.
It became a poster.
And
it's like, Shaq says this all the time, put it on a t-shirt, or you say put it on a poster. That is a poster that needs to get circulated again.
Yeah, or just everybody's making t-shirts now. We need to make a t-shirt of that because everybody and their brothers making t-shirts about everything right now.
Yeah.
But you've given me almost 30 minutes here. But I found out something about you that I didn't know. And I was listening to Alex Meacham and the Bearcat podcast, and we've been friends for about 2 years now. And I never knew this about you. You went to school with Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg, Cameron Diaz, Willie McGinnis, who just retired from the Patriots a couple years ago. He was on my basketball team. Yeah, Snoop played Pop Warner Sports below me. He was tall. He wore number 12. All his family was pretty much gangsters and hustlers. So you fall in line with that. You end up doing what they do. They go to jail and they come back out. But the only reason Snoop got out, he was in there with all his cousins and friends, and he was freestyling in prison in the commissary, the kitchen area. And some guy was beatboxing, and hitting the table and creating the beat. And he put everybody in the in the commissary in the rap and started, it was like a stress relief for people.
Right.
And so one of the OGs was like, hey man, I got a favor that I have with with the warden. I'm gonna get you out. But if you come back in here, you ain't gonna like it. He was trying to use a little scare straight program. He got out, and the rest is history. But Cameron Diaz, her sister was beautiful. Her sister was Cameron was tall and skinny.
Right.
And her sister was voluptuous and very beautiful, very quiet and shy. And Cameron had all the personality. She would come over, cross the, I lived right next to Long Beach Poly High School, and it was the hood.
Right.
And it was the projects. It was new projects, but it was still the project. She'd come over there, don't care. I mean, she would just hang out and kick it. But she was just a real one. And then I was like, hey, I know this girl. I was in Kroger, right across the street from Clifton, in Clifton, across from the campus. And this was 91, 92. And I look, and on the cover of 17 magazine is Cameron Diaz. I said, I know Cameron. Hold on. They was like, Corey's like, man, you don't know no damn Cameron Diaz. I said, I'm telling you, I know her. Call her. So I'm trying to find her number. I called the number, and of course, it's changed now. So.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, man, there was a lot of guys from my high school that end up being, Mark Carrier, who played for the Bears, who was the Bengals defensive back coach for a while, also played. He was on that team. Leonard Russell, he got drafted by the San Diego Chargers. He was an original big back like Christian Okoye, 6'4", 240. He was on that team. I mean, we had so many guys. Juju Smith-Schuster is from Long Beach Poly. We got just tons of talent. It's called, if you look at you Google Long Beach Poly High School, on the top, the Jackrabbits, it'll say home of scholars and champions. I mean, we win championships. We won the championship this year in football. So this is awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I went to West Side, and the only thing we could say is that's where Pete Rose came from. And well, so sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. But that's
I coached there, man. You can also say
that's right. I forgot about that. You did,
yes.
And when you coached there, we actually had a really, really good basketball team. Now I was long gone after when you started coaching there, but yes, we had a really good basketball team when you were there.
Yeah, I inherited a team that Atlantis Timmons, who went on. Danny Horace, Daryl Peterson, Daryl Peterson Jr. is the number one player in Ohio for his grade. He already been offered. I think he's 8th grade or 9th grade. He's got like 20 Division I offers already. They call him buckets. Nice. They call him Buckets Peterson. He gets absolute buckets. He can go. But Stevie Horton with the Ball State, Jarrell Redden, the coach at Woodward right now. He's also played under me at West High. So we had some guys. Jabril Moulton, who is the AD at Woodward, also played under me. So we had we got it going, and then stepped away, started doing radio and TV.
Yeah, man. The people have coaching trees. I mean, you got friends trees. You got all kinds of people that are under the Terry Nelson branches. You got Snoop
Mhm,
Dogg. You got
mhm.
your former players. All kinds of stuff. You know a lot of people, Terry. You're just a man to know, man.
Well, you have to you swallow your ego, swallow your pride, and realize that somebody's got value. Everybody's got value. You have to
Mm-hmm.
understand what that value is in people and take a piece of that, because somebody's going to remember what you said.
Mm-hmm.
They won't. They don't. They will remember how you make them feel. But when you give them an edification, a word that really means something to them, they'll always remember it. You extend a favor to somebody who can never pay you back. You do things for people, whether they have the opportunity to get it back to you. And I always tell people, pay it forward.
Mm-hmm.
So many people have helped me get to where I am. I didn't have a father growing up. My mom had 6 kids. We struggled. We had hand-me-downs. We used to eat wish sandwiches for dinner. That's when you had 2 pieces of bread. You wish you had something to eat on the
Right.
inside of it.
Right.
We used to make our own candy and all this other stuff. It was just you survive, and then once you
Mm-hmm.
get past survival, you get to the point where you're sustaining, and then you get to the point where you're conquering. And
Exactly.
college degree for me changed everything. So
Mm-hmm.
when people come to me and they want their autograph signed, they want to take a selfie, you never know how far that's going to go. You
Right.
do it. I don't care how tired you are. I don't care if you've signed the same kid's jersey 3 times, 5 times, 6 times, sign them again, because you're making an imprint. If guys didn't recognize you, I see guys all the time. I'll be eating dinner and stuff, and they'll be like, "I'm sorry to interrupt you, man. Could I take a picture with you? My son loves you." I'm like, "It ain't your son, it's you." I get it,
Right.
but I don't turn them away, because that might be the last time that person sees you,
Mm-hmm.
or that person it may be the last time that, if you pass away or something happens to you or something happens to that person, then it goes viral in their community. If they
Mm-hmm.
post it on their page, the people that are connected with them will be like, "Oh man, I know Terry. How'd you get a chance to see that picture?" And it's not like I'm the biggest celebrity, but if you see me and you appreciate what I've done over the course of time for the Bearcats, then I'm going to give it back to you. When you give me that love, I'm going to show you the same love.
Exactly, and I appreciate you, because you were my very first
Mhm.
guest, and ever since you came on my podcast, which that was before I even went live or any of this stuff, I've had multiple people on there since then. So I appreciate you giving me that chance. Now, you brought your mom up, and
Mhm.
I wanted to know, about a year ago, her apartment building house burnt down, and your mom and your sister weren't doing so.
Mhm.
How are they doing right now, anyway?
Oh, you say about a year ago. Tomorrow will be exactly a year.
God,
So
I
you'll
was
start seeing it all looping all over
mm-hmm,
Facebook again.
mm-hmm.
My mom's walking. She's even driving now.
Awesome.
Yeah, my sister's back. She had 6 vertebrae replaced in her back. She's back walking. My niece, who is the worst, she had, paralyzed one of her legs. She has maybe 50 to 60% back in that leg. She
Mm.
tries to walk, tries to get stronger with it. It's not all the way there, but that money ran out. And the bills are back again, because we're
Oh
at the
no.
end of that lease, and I'm paying out of my pocket. But it's one of those things where we hope they get a settlement of some kind to help out
Right.
with the bills, because they're trying to get back to a normal life. But it's hard to keep a job in a normal setting, because they can't stand for long periods of time.
Right.
So, but I appreciate the concern, because yeah, it was a tragic situation for them having to jump out of a 3rd-story condo fire to save their lives, and broke every back and bones and stuff. But through the grace of prayer and the power of joy, there's something about being having joy and laughter that heals the bones. That my family just comes from a family of comedians. Like, we laugh at each other, we tell jokes. And my mom's sitting over here in the hospital with burn marks all over her hands and legs, and she's smiling. She goes, I'm okay, baby. I'm alive. God spared me." And that kind of tenacity and will to live and will to want to get better, even at her age of 76 years old, 77 now, it's like something that you'll never forget. It's a lesson that we all need to learn.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the outpouring from this community to help you out, help your family out. The donations you got last year, because I remember helping you out at the storage unit there, is awesome. That to me shows what you're just talking about, how you always go out and extend a hand to help people, and how it comes back to you. And it came back to you last year, and it sounds like
Mhm.
you might need a little more help this year, depending on what's going on with the settlement and the money wise like that. Is there anything you got going on where people can help you out right now?
Yeah, they'll see like I said, once again, it'll circulate. We still, the GoFundMe is still active. We still need resources as far as cash and stuff like that to help with bills. And I appreciate you because you came and you work night shifts and you came straight from work and you brought your big truck with your Bearcat flags over there and you was helping us take furniture out and move it around. And me and TJ were on our way to Atlanta with a U-Haul truck full of donations that the fans and supporters just graciously blessed us with. But you came out, man. I asked people to come help. You showed up. So you're the only person that showed up, and your back was hurting and all this stuff, but you didn't care, man. You were talking about UC basketball in the midst of loading up stuff. I'm like, man, this dude is off the chain, bro.
Dude, hey, I love sports. I love my Bearcats. Dude, if I got a chance to talk to Terry Nelson about Bearcat basketball, I'm there. Let's go.
I love it, man. My family love it. TJ, we're driving. We were passing Kentucky going into Tennessee, and he was like, "What's the dude's name? Strawberry?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "He's cool, man." I said, "Yeah, he is cool."
Well, I appreciate you, Terry. Like I said, I appreciate you coming on my podcast as many times as you had. Like I said, you're my very first one, and like I said, if it wasn't for you, because when I started doing this, I never even thought about really having guests, and I met you at the coaches show there, and we started talking. You're like, "Yeah, you should have me on your show." Going, you really want to come on my show? I'm like, we can do that? I'm like, cool. I'm like, all right. So that kind of got the ball rolling for me to just reach out and, ask other people. And lo and behold, I've had other guys on here and stuff. So I always appreciate the time you give me. And dude, you're one of my favorite guys. I need a prediction for Saturday night. You think we got this or where are we at with the CrossTown show? You think it's going to be Bearcats? You think it'll be Xavier? We got a bold prediction from Terry Nelson.
I'm going to give you a bold prediction just because it's you. Because it's you. Bold predictions are we're going to bring it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not telling you we're going to win. I'm telling you that our effort defensively, our will to win, our will to fight and scrap and claw. Xavier is the better team. And on record, they got a really, really good team. They shouldn't have lost the game they lost. Fremantle wasn't playing. I believe Scruggs wasn't playing either. The game they lost to Virginia Tech. Iowa State, they lost.
Right.
And so they should be a top 10 team if they didn't lose that one game because it put them back a little bit. But they have momentum now. They had full strength. Playing at home, we haven't won there in 20 games or 20 years. So 8-0 in Centos Center.
Mm-hmm.
However, we're going to make them work for everything. I don't think guys will be rattled as much as they were a couple years ago, but they'll be ready to go. Now, it's the first time for all these guys playing in an environment like this, other than Davenport, as a freshman.
Right.
But they're going to have to bring it. They're going to have to make sure that not only can we defend, but can we hit shots and can we get easy buckets in transition? Xavier is long, they're tall, they get back well, and they're cocky. And so it's nothing better than to beat a team that's long, tall, plays well, and that are cocky in their place.
Yeah.
So if we can do it, great. My man Byron Larkin over there who does radio for him, we're really good friends. And normally he calls me the week of. He called me on Monday to, talk about Herb and say he really likes West, but he didn't give me no intel this time about Xavier. So I think he's keeping it close to the vest.
Well, either way, I can't wait till Saturday night. I think it's going to be fun. I'm hoping UC wins. It's going to be tough. Either way, I'm Bearcats all the way. Terry, as always, I appreciate you coming on, and I hope everything gets better with your mom and family and everything there, and you have a wonderful day. Anything you got going on you want to promote here real quick before I let you go?
Yeah, buy and sell with T-Nail. If you're looking to list your house, looking to buy a house, hit me up, T-Nail33 on IG and Twitter. Go to my website, buyandsellwithtnail.com. And first of all, what's up with those curtains you got right there? Those Bengals curtains. Where'd you get those Bengals curtains from?
These?
Yes, man.
My mom made these for me.
Stop it. What?
Yeah,
you got a whole generation of women now don't even know what a sewing machine is.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, my mom came down here and I had this all painted. I got Bearcats on one side, Reds on the other side. I got Bengals, and I had they were like maroon or something. I don't even remember what they were. And she goes, "Those don't match anything." I said, "No." She goes, "I'll make you some Bengals one." I go, "Okay." So I don't know. Next day she showed up with like 3 of them. I'm like, "Sweet, thanks, Mom." Yeah, they've been up ever since. So it's not me, it's my mom. So my mom rocks. And this generation, like my daughter doesn't even know how to sew anything. Unfortunately.
Well, they took out home economics in school.
Right.
They used to have home economics as a bell, as an elective. And then sometimes I think when I was in there, it was a prerequisite. You had to take home economics. It taught you basically how to do everything in the home. Sew, clean, cook.
Yep.
I mean, you had recipes, you were making stuff.
Yep.
And I had right next, when I was a teacher at West High, right next to me was the home economics course.
Yeah.
And so the teacher and some of the students used to walk in there with some of the stuff they made all the time. I'm like, give me those cookies,
Yeah,
baby.
I know. Hook
Give
me
me those
up.
brownies, hook me up.
Exactly.
And some of them you like, you got the milk with this because this is dry. You must have missed the class that told you got to put some butter in there.
It won't go down. It's stuck.
Get back to work, man. I got to get to work.
All right, brother. Thanks, Terry.
All right, man. Go Bearcats.
Go Bearcats. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that interview as much as I did. Terry Nelson is a great dude. He is, like I said, I am being completely honest. He is one of my favorite guys that I've met. He's genuine. What you see is what you get with Terry. He's a genuine, kind-hearted guy, and I always appreciate every time he comes on my show. So let's get to the Facebook groups that let me live stream, and I'll get on out of here. And I'm gonna go on a date with my wife tonight. But they are Houday Nation, Houday Legion, Bearcat Ruckus, Bearcat Country, Cincinnati Reds, rounding third, heading for home, the Ohio State Bucknuts, the Ice Bar, and you can follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Twitter handle is at Jeff A. Trunapole. TikTok is at Iceman90. I just put a new video up there today wishing Joey B, Jackpot Joey Burrow, a happy birthday. So you guys can go check that one out. I'll greatly appreciate it. If you missed any of the interview with Terry Nelson, which was a great interview. I like I said, I'm not tooting my own horn. Terry's awesome at being interviewed. It's not me, it's Terry. Terry's great at this. But if you missed any of it and you don't have time to sit down and watch me for an hour, check out the podcast. I'll be putting up on the podcast later on tonight. It'll be on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure you rate, like, and review. Give me a 5-star review. I would greatly appreciate it. And leave a comment so more Cincinnati fans can find my podcast. YouTubers, we're at 1,417 subscribers. That is awesome. As always, I appreciate every single one of you guys. I know it's Friday night. Everybody's out partying, having a good time. So hopefully, if you're watching this on the rewind, I appreciate you watching it. And I appreciate the support that you guys have given me over the years. And it's just awesome. So other than that, as my boy, Jeremy Dimebag D's Nuts likes to say, remember one thing and one thing only. And that is, you don't live in Cleveland, you live in Cincinnati. So act like it. Houday, we're going to beat the Suck Uniters. I hope we beat the Suck Uniters. I cannot stand the Suck Uniters. I want to beat them so badly. But we'll find out because we're kind of injured. But championship teams, step up, and hopefully the Bengals are a championship team, and we will find out Sunday. Kay Adams is going to be here from Good Morning Football. She's the ruler of the jungle. She's going to be at the Holy Grail with Mo Egger and Tony Pike. That'll be a great time. I think she's going down to Bengal gyms too afterwards. I'm pretty sure. Let's have a lot of fun. Let's sell out the jungle. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be like 60 degrees. If you have not bought tickets yet, go buy tickets. Go support this team. They deserve it. The players deserve your support. It's fun. It's a blast. Come say hi to me. Go say hi to Bengal Gym. Go check out Cap. Go check out just the stadium. And like Terry said, it's a place to be. It's a place to meet people. It's fun. Go buy tickets. Let's hopefully the Bengals will beat the Sucky Niners this Sunday. And you guys have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you back Monday. Me and Bengals Cap will be right here Monday, recapping hopefully a Bengals win. We'll be here for a Bengals loss too, but hopefully a Bengals win. But other than that, that's just sports, baby. See ya!
Let's go. Orange in the day, black in the night. Stripes in our veins, sparks gonna fly. The beast is awake, orange, black and white. Cause when the jungle come alive, Houday, we ignite and Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle, we unite and dripping orange and black and white. Houday, when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Wake up the beast, every day is a feast. Time to bust it off the leash. In the jungle, dripping heat. Tigers strike the city streets. East side. Cincinnati, we gon' rise and in the jungle, we unite and dripping orange and black and white. All day when we fight, live and die in these stripes. Now who gotta move like it on? Now who wanna move crossing on? Now who wanna move on? If you got stripes, then you let the city know you rock 'em. Yeah, we got 'em. Yeah, we fought 'em. Like that black and orange Apollo.